Good morning, BHS. I'm Olivia Washington.
And I'm Zoe Lacey, welcoming you to the first Black History Month episode of BHS-TV.
History defines Black History Month as an annual celebration of achievements by African Americans and a time for recognizing the central role of Blacks in U.S. history.
We would like to recognize those Black communities by arranging an all-Black episode.
We have developed a segment asking students of BHS what Black History Month means to them and why it's important to celebrate.
Black History Month celebrates the achievements of African Americans in our society. It also gives us time to reflect on the central role that African Americans have played in American history. The theme of Black History Month this year is African Americans and the vote. It's 150 years since African American men were given the right to vote by the 15th Amendment, and it's 100 years since women earned the right to vote via the 19th Amendment. So this is a pivotal year in our civic life, as well as, again, a chance for us to celebrate the lives of African Americans who've contributed so much to our society.
The achievements of prior Black leaders help remind us of all they've persevered and went through for us, and help future Black generations continue that fight, because the fight is really never over, for equality and justice.
Black History Month is not just for Black people, it's about bringing all different cultures to the table and celebrating our diversity.
Celebrating Black History Month helps educate everybody around us about Black culture and powerful Black leaders in the past and present, and helps of creating a society in which everyone's educated about different issues and topics, and we can live together in harmony.
So to me, being Black means that I am the future that my ancestors really wanted. Back then, they were discriminated against, enslaved, and I feel like as of 2020, I represent what they really wanted to see with progressiveness within our Black culture.
It means a whole lot to be Black, knowing that I came from a group of people who went through a lot of hardships and a lot of difficulty in their past, but they still found a way to overcome those difficulties and hardships and make a way, make a living and make a success given the circumstances that they were in.
Some of the most prominent figures we've had in American history have been Black people, and I think that taking the month to remember them and their achievements and the effect that they've had on the Black community and the entire country as a whole is really important.
We celebrate Black History Month because it shows how far we've come from being not able to go to the same bathrooms, and now we are presidents and senators, and we are musicians, and we're pretty much running a lot of things nowadays.
For me, Black History Months mean that it celebrates our leaders from back in the day and what they did for our culture today.
Black history is important to me because it helps me understand the importance of building a legacy, as well as making sure that the future generations understand the importance of building a solid foundation, as well as knowing their history.
I think that also being Black means that you come with a history, and with that history, it's very rich, and it's just my identity. It's just truly something that I'm very proud of.
I have to say, that was pretty deep, Zoe.
I definitely agree. I feel like everyone's response was genuine, and it seems like Black History Month means a lot to them.
Absolutely. I remember back in elementary school when we took the time to research famous African Americans for Black History Month, but I always wondered where did the origins of Black History Month come from.
Well, lucky for us, we have created a crash course informing why Black history is in February and the meaning behind it, provided by Officer Hakeem Smith.
Hello, BHS. I am Detective Hakeem Smith from the Barrington Police Department, and I'm your SRO. Today, I'd like to give a brief summary of why it's important to celebrate Black History Month each year. Black History Month serves to celebrate the effort and achievements of the African American community, both past and present. Its origins come from 1926 when Carter G. Woodson of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History announced that the second week of February will be known as Black History Week because it landed on the birthdays of Abraham Lincoln, the 12th, and Frederick Douglass, the 14th. Woodson would go on to push for the teaching of Black history in public schools, and eventually after his death, the 1954 opinion of Brown versus the Board of Education ruled segregation in public schools to be unconstitutional. That same year, Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat to a white man in the front of a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, inspiring the Montgomery bus boycott led by Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King was inspired by his Baptist background and the nonviolent activism of Gandhi to avoid violence and the protests against racial discrimination. In 1963, King was arrested while protesting in Birmingham, Alabama. after some criticism from his fellow clergymen about the effectiveness of his actions. King wrote his notable letter from Birmingham jail defending his strategy of continuous nonviolent protest. It was later that same year when he gave his famous I Have a Dream speech. Black History Month was later proposed in 1969 by black students attending Kent State University. Thank you, BHS. And remember that Black History Month is part of American history. And now I'm about to send you back to the anchor desk.
Who would have thought how informing that crash course would be?
It truly was.
Now for the next segment, we have our one and only Evan Jean-Baptiste hosting one of our segments, Sports Desk.
Good morning, BHS. My name is Evan Jean-Baptiste. Today on the show, we will see how some of our favorite BHS sports teams did, as well as preview some of the upcoming matchups. It's February 12th, and you're watching Barrington Sports Desk. First on the show is boys basketball, who recently beat Schaumburg this past Friday by a score of 49-36. Their next game is a rematch against Palatine. The last time they played, the Broncos lost 49-59 at home. This Friday, they will travel to Palatine at 7:30. Next up is girls basketball, who took the W on senior night this past Saturday. The Phillies won 57-42 over Deerfield. So congratulations to all the seniors: Katie Tomchek, Shanna Trzynski, Haley Schmitz, Taylor Thompson, Marissa Faulkner, and Anna Mae King. Next up is the Broncos wrestling, who defeated Stevenson to claim the regional title. So congratulations to the Broncos and good luck to 11 boys advancing to the sectional tournament. And next up is the bowling team, who as a team took third in the regional tournament and will have 4 bowlers qualifying for sectionals this weekend: Autumn Fox, Emily O'Byrne, Sonia Hollaby, and Paige Bradley. Next up is Barrington football, who has multiple athletes commit to play college ball since the season ended in November. Lucas Finesse committed to Iowa, David Shinhoster committed to Nebraska Kearney, Luke Kozlowski committed to Butler, and Roberto Alvarez and Tommy Fitzpatrick both committed to North Central College. That's all for today, BHS. I'm Evan Jean-Baptiste. Thanks for watching, and back to the studio.
Thanks, Evan.
Olivia,
Yes?
do you know
No, what?
that you're in the know?
Dear Lord, cue the segment.
What's up, Barrington? It's your girl T. Thompson here, and it's time to get you in the know. Interested in a flexible job opportunity where you can make almost $20 an hour? If so, you should be a tutor for Peer-to-Peer, a group that's started in the BHS Incubator EDU program. They match BHS students to kids in grades K through 8, and for every 4th lesson booked, a family in need receives a free lesson. If interested, please contact peertopeerbusiness@gmail.com. Auditions for senior speaker for this year's graduation ceremony will be held after school on Thursday, April 2nd in room E366. Your speech should be creative, original, and less than 5 minutes long. If you are interested in auditioning or have any questions, please email Mr. Bell at wbell@barrington220.org. There will be a churro fundraiser after school today, and it's to raise money for refugees dealing with the cold weather to provide basic necessities such as blankets, jackets, etc. This fundraiser will be done by Muslim Students Association. Good luck to the chess team at this weekend's state tournament. Don't forget about Love Week at BHS. Tomorrow, show off your favorite BHS sport, club, or activity t-shirt. You can also still surprise a friend and send them a candygram for just $1. That's all for this week, Barrington. I'm Taylor Thompson, and now you're in the know.
We have come to that time where we are at the end of the episode.
Before we close off, we would just like to thank everyone who made this episode possible, and hopefully that we continue this as a tradition in the future.
We would also like to acknowledge that this month isn't just to remember Black history, but to remember how progressive African American culture has become.
I'm Olivia Washington.
And I'm Zoe Lacey, closing off this week's episode.